Final Fantasy XV takes place in the Kingdom of Lucis. The name Lucis comes from the Latin for light. It's very popular for fantasy games, novels, and movies to take names from Latin. Latin is generally considered to be the most melodic and beautiful sounding language. Many of the words we use today are based on Latin, and scholars believe that we hear symbolism in the Latin language that makes the language more poetic, making it perfect for fantasies like Final Fantasy XV. One of the Latin words you'll find in Final Fantasy XV is Lucis, which means light. This is the name of the kingdom that player character Lucis Noctis Caelum comes from. The Kingdom of Lucis, light, is the last place in Final Fantasy XV's world to have a crystal, which makes Lucis a prosperous place. The surrounding regions do not have crystals and are much darker and less prosperous. This is important when you consider the main character's name, Noctis Lucis Caelum. The player character names all have different translations from Latin. Noctis Lucis Caelum means light, the night sky. The light is the Kingdom of Lucis, which literally means light, and the night sky is the surrounding darker areas of Final Fantasy XV's world. Noctis Lucis Caelum is joined by other player characters, and all their names can be translated from Latin. Ignis Stupio Scientia can be loosely translated to mean fire-stunned knowledge. Difficult to discern a direct meaning from that name, though Ignis is a more serious scientific character than his cohorts. Meanwhile, other playable characters, Gladiolus Amicitus and Prompto Argentum, mean Little Sword and Quicksilver, names which speak about the characters' personalities. Here's what some of the other names in Final Fantasy XV mean. Corleonis translates to Lion's Heart. Idola Aldecapt. Idola means idol, and Aldecapt is a made-up word. Regis Lucis Caelum translate to Sky of the King's Light. Luna Nox Fluet means moon and foil. She wears a crescent moon and fights with a fencing foil. Final Fantasy XV also features lots of characters and creatures that are based on various mythologies. Let's take a look. Final Fantasy XV's Al Mirage. Final Fantasy XV features a large rabbit unicorn, a rabbit with a horn rising from the crown of its head. The rabbit unicorn is based on a mythical beast called Al Mirage, which was first seen in Arabic poetry. The Al Mirage is said to live on the mysterious island of Gezeret Al-Tanin, within the confines of the Indian Ocean. Al Mirage are typically yellow, though the one in Final Fantasy XV is white. The Al Mirage in Final Fantasy XV also looks friendly. That's against the tradition of the mythological beast, which is said to be able to devour humans and animals. Interestingly, the people who live on the island of Gezeret Al-Tanin believe that the Al Mirage can be turned harmless by a witch. Maybe that's what has happened to our Final Fantasy XV rabbit unicorn. The rabbit in Final Fantasy XV also shows influences based on the Kabbit, which is a mythological cat rabbit that is very popular in Japanese manga, anime, and RPGs. You've probably seen some in the movies and games that you watch and play. Catoblepas. Final Fantasy XV's Catoblepas is based on a mythological creature with the same name. The Catoblepas originates from Ethiopia and was first described by Pliny the Elder. The Catoblepas has the head of a wild boar and the body of a huge buffalo, with scales on its back that give it extra armor. Humorously, because the Catoblepas's head is so heavy, it always has to point downwards. In the original legends, the Catoblepas was capable of turning people into stone by staring at them, or it can simply kill them. The Imp.
Slow down a sec.
Imps are one of the most popular mythological creatures in games, literature, and movies. They're similar to goblins and are found throughout folklore. The name imp comes from the Old English name for the scion of a plant or of a tree, and later came to mean the scion of a house. It wasn't until the 16th century that people began to use the word imp for an evil entity, which was often a serpent or a devil. The Behemoth. Behemoths are found all throughout literature, movies and games, but they were first mentioned in Job 40:15-24. It is believed that they are based on an elephant, a rhinoceros, a hippo or a buffalo. Others believe that the behemoth was originally a description for a dinosaur. The behemoth are powerful and dangerous creatures, and they're also related to another of Final Fantasy XV's creatures, the Leviathan. The Leviathan is a creature of chaos and was first found in the Bible. The Leviathan is a primeval sea monster. This monster has enormous power and can easily crush a human. The Leviathan is famously known as the fire-breathing monster that boils the sea when it swims to the surface. Swords and harpoons are not enough to take down these beasts. Powerful attacks and magics are the only hope against them. The Naga. The Naga are powerful semi-divine beings that are found in Buddhism, in Hinduism, and in Jainism. They are half human, half cobras, and are generally depicted as a handsome species that can take the form either of a human or of a serpent. The Naga live in an underground kingdom called Naga Loka, which are full of beautiful palaces and gems. This has been a quick look at some of the amazing mythology behind Final Fantasy XV. I hope you've enjoyed this look at the mythology of Final Fantasy XV. If you love mythology and stories in general, be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and on YouTube. I'll be covering all your favorite games, movies, and stories, so stay tuned.